to the government house. What you're seeing there are live pictures from Benue State. The president there in handshake with officials of Benue State. We also understand that 6 governors of the North Central region are in that state. In that state to receive the president in Makurdi. The president will be addressing security challenges there after a severe attack in Yewata, Guma local government area that left scores of people, over 100 people. Some have said to have lost as much as 20 members of their families. That's how serious that crisis is in that state. It is not new, but just recently escalated in Benue State. We also understand that emergency response have been attending to those who have been displaced and have been moved to Makurdi in a temporary camp. All of those issues, I'm sure, is what the residents of Benue State are looking forward to the president addressing. The mood he is going to meet, the reception, we understand, is somber and a bit mild, because this is not a fanfare. This is about loss of lives and property in Benue State.
Have grave concern about the misinformation and misrepresentation of the security crisis in Benue State. Your Excellencies, it is not herder farmers clashes, it's not communal clashes, it's not repressor attacks or skirmishes. It is this misinformation that has led to suggestions such as remain tolerant, negotiate for peace, learn to live with your neighbors. What we are dealing with here in Benue is a calculated, well-planned, full-scale genocidal invasion and land-grabbing campaign by herder terrorists and bandits, which has been on for decades and is worsening every year. Wrong diagnosis will always lead to wrong treatment. So we are dealing with something far more sinister than we think about. It's not learning to live with your neighbors. It is dealing with a war. The second apprehension, Your Excellency, we have is the politicization of the crisis. Politicians in the states are busy politicizing the crisis, passing blames instead of joining hands to address the crisis. We hear there are some politicians who would even prefer that the crisis should worsen so that it will be a basis for declaration of a state of emergency in Benue State. Your Excellency, this is unfortunate, and any politicians that prays for more people to die for such a project is against the wishes of the people of Benue State. Appeal. Your Excellency, Benue State has made a lot of sacrifices to keep this country united. Many of our people died during the Civil War. We paid the supreme price for this country to keep this country united. Why should we be treated like this? This, what you have come to condole us, is just one in a series of several massacres in this state. What has Benue State done to merit what we are going through? We appeal to you to end the genocide going on in Benue State and the insecurity in all parts of Nigeria. We know you are capable of doing it, sir.
All right, good evening and thanks for joining us. Now, this is Political Lens. On the show today, Tinubu, APC, federal government can't. won't stop Benue-Plateau crisis. Now, this is coming from insiders. Let's kick into it. The atrocious killings of natives of Benue and Plateau states by suspected herdsmen has become a lingering and intractable crisis, defying solutions in over 40 years. From the government of Ibrahim Babangida through the botched Third Republic and through the Fourth Republic, the crisis has endured. But it took a turn for the worse during the government of Muhammad Buhari, where over 63,000 Nigerians were slaughtered in cold blood in 8 years. Well, surprisingly, the insecurity that was used as a campaign issue by the APC during the Jonathan era has persisted. It should be recalled that the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while campaigning as the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, had called on President Jonathan, to take responsibility for the killings and the insecurity or resign from office if he was unable to deal with all of that. Well, 2 years into his own administration, insecurity and killings have more than tripled, and the president is calling on the state governors to take decisive political action, more like buck passing and scapegoating. Last week, the president took time off his busy schedule to visit Benue State, where over 200 unarmed and defenseless Nigerians were burnt to death by suspected killer herdsmen, one in a series of killings that have become commonplace in the Middle Belt region of Nigeria. Well, the president, at the wake of the last killings, asked the governor and leaders of Benue to take decisive political action. Days after the president's visit, 12 people were killed in Plateau State, and the president has again called on the state governor, Caleb Muftuan, to take decisive action and bring the perpetrators to book. In all, the federal government and security sources continue to misrepresent the issues and define it as communal conflicts and community crises. During a town hall meeting at Makurdi last week during the president's visit, the Tortiv boldly told the president that it was genocide at play, not communal conflicts. Many Nigerians are at a loss as to how and why the killings have persisted, despite huge sums of money put into fighting insecurity. The big question Nigerians are asking is, why the persistent killings, even as some major stakeholders and insiders have said that Tinubu, APC federal government can't stop Benue-Plateau crisis? Well, let's bring in our guest. We are joined by Dr. Isuwa Dogo. He's a political scientist and National Publicity Secretary of Middle Belt Forum. Good evening, Dr. Dogo, and thanks for coming to Political Lens. We appreciate your presence, sir.
And thank you for having me.
All right, well, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, now, Dr. Dogo, you are from Middle Belt and the National Public Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. What more should we know beyond what you already know? What is the problem in Benue Plateau? Why the carnage in the Middle Belt? What should we know more that is going on there?
The carnage is across the whole country. It's not just the Middle Belt.
Okay.
So it is probably not appropriate to just attribute it to the Middle Belt.
But
yes,
essentially, what we are discussing on this issue is the Middle Belt crisis, the Benue Plateau killings. That is why I isolated it. We know what is going on in other parts of the country, but I want us to dwell with what is going on in the Middle Belt.
Of Benue, you are talking of Plateau, you are talking of Katsina, you are talking of Zamfara, you are talking of Sokoto, anywhere is the same thing. So the carnage is, there is nothing like herders, farmers clash. There's nothing like that. If those who are the terrorists are herders, that's a different thing. If they are Fulani or whatever tribe, that is a different thing. But we have a lot of things that are not being explained and they are not known, maybe to the government. But we know, we in the Middle Belt, we know that we have terrorists, we have mercenaries that are coming to exterminate us and to grab our land and to take all sorts of criminal things away from us. So it is nothing, there is nothing like others, farmers clash, I repeat. And I've been saying this not today, since 2014. And you Google, you will see most of those things that I said. You know, these are terrorists. Many of them are mercenaries. You see, if they are herders, they are not even Nigerian Fulanis. They are mercenaries paid and employed and brought to Nigeria to commit the atrocities they are committing across the whole nation. So it is something that we are feeling the pain, extreme pain in the Middle Belt and the whole country. So I don't want to restrict it just to the Middle Belt because I know those in other parts of the country are feeling the same thing, whether it is Northwest, whether it's Northeast, whether it's Middle Belt, whatever it is, whatever area, whichever area, we are having terrorist attacks, genocide in one form or the other.
I want us to be very particular about what we are talking about this evening. I'm sure the people of Ondo State have not cried out about genocide. The people in Enugu State or Abia State or Cross River State have not cried out about genocide. That is why I am being particular. I said the topic of this discussion is the Benue-Plateau crisis. We understand what is going on in other parts of the country. Like I said, I want us to dwell within Benue-Plateau. Now, you say it's not farmer-header clash, that it is genocide. Now, when the president says, Governor, take decisive political action, what do you think that the governors can do? I mean, as a high-ranking member of the Middle Belt Forum, I know that you interface with the governments, with the governors. What do the governors tell you when these incidents happen? How do they come out? Frustrated, hopeful, surrender, or what? I'd like for us to know.
Sorry, I didn't hear you very well.
Okay, now you are the National Public Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. Now, this thing has endured over time. This is not the first time, like the third chief also said, look, this is not the first time our people are being killed in Benue State. Now, the president set up a committee. I wouldn't know if you're a member of that committee, but I know that the Middle Belt Forum is very active, in protecting the interest of the Middle Belt. You are the National Public Secretary. When these killings happen, because look, the president says, Governor, take decisive political action. In the midst of all of that, the governors, how do they feel? I would like for us to understand how the governors feel when you interface with them.
I'm not part of the group that interfaces with the governor or anybody because I'm based in Lagos and I'm far away. And so I'm not part of any group that went to interface with the governor. So I don't want to start talking about the interfacing with the governor. Did you hear me?
I understand that you are the National Publicity Secretary of Middle Belt Forum. Am I correct?
In terms of being a political scientist, being a Nigerian, being a part of the Middle Belt, they get it. That is why I don't want us to segment it into those kind of myopic kind of descriptions. You see it?
Dr. Dogo, we are discussing Middle Belt, Benue-Plateau crisis. I sent you the topic.
I was the National Publicity Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. And I still stand for the Middle Belt Forum. And I stand for the whole country. And I talk based on my understanding and my knowledge of the security problems that are taking place in the Middle Belt and the country in general. And that is why I said, to just narrow it to this kind of description makes it a bit difficult to analyze.
Okay, so clearly you don't understand what is going on in Benue-Plateau because you operate from Lagos as the National Public Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. Am I correct?
Me. What I am explaining to you, are you getting me, is that under the existing situation now, anybody who is a Nigerian and knows what has been taking place, and I did tell you that I've been talking about it since 2014, and we narrow it down to Plateau and Benue. It is like making it look simplistic because it is not as simple as that. and every single part of Nigeria is in danger. That is what I want you to understand. So when we are discussing a thing like that, yes, you can say, look, something has happened, or something is happening in Benue, something is happening in Plateau. Look at what was happening in southern Kaduna. Do you get it? Look at what was happening in the whole of Kaduna State, Brunungwari and all those places, and several other parts of the country. So I want to talk on the security aspect of Nigeria, which will reach anywhere and every part of the country if nothing happens. Instead of just saying, oh, look, there is an issue with Middle Belt or with Plateau and Benue, that is why it is happening. Because the narration points to that look, there must be a problem between Plateau or Benue State and the terrorists that are killing or performing this genocide, which is not the case. There is no problem. That's why I started by telling you there is nothing like Fulani, herdsmen, and farmers clash. There is nothing of that nature. We only have terrorists, mercenaries that are killing people in Benue, killing people in Plateau, and several other parts of Nigeria.
Dr. Dogo, are you the National Public Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum?
But I still...
Hello, sir.
And I've been the Middle Belt Forum for ages.
Okay, are you the National Public Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum?
I was.
Okay, you are no longer. You are no longer.
Now, there is nothing national in the Middle Belt Forum that I'm not involved.
Okay, there is no activity of theirs that you are not involved, but you are not part of the team that goes to interface with the governor in terms of when crises like this, when events like this happen, like has happened last 2 weekends. You are not part of the team, right?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, now what is going on in Benue State? Since it's a national issue, you want us to locate it within Nigerian nation. The same thing, that the killings that happen in Benue and Plateau, are they also happening in Lagos where you live?
In where?
In Lagos where you live.
Maybe you should get me very right. It will reach Lagos if it is not stopped in Plateau, if it is not stopped in Benue, if it is not stopped in Katsina, if it is not stopped in Sokoto, if it is not stopped in Zamfara, if it is not stopped in Niger, if it is not stopped in Kebbi, if it is not stopped in Kwara and several other parts of Nigeria, it will reach Lagos and every part of Nigeria. That is how serious I want you people to look at it and to take it, not to restrict.
Essentially, you admit that it hasn't reached Lagos, but that it is going on in Benue Plateau. Am I correct?
You said?
So you admit that the kind of killings, happening in Benue Plateau, maybe in Katsina in Borno State, has not reached Lagos. Am I correct?
I don't think you are correct, because it all depends on the
killings. So the kind of killings, mass killings, where about over 200 people were killed 2 weekends ago in Benue State, it also happens in Lagos State.
Sorry, when you start, it goes off and I don't hear you completely. I don't know why.
Dr. Dogo, among all the regions, the Middle Belt Plateau, especially Benue, is reputed to have produced the highest number of officer corps of the Nigerian army. Why are the retired soldiers silent in what is happening in the region? We are talking about Middle Belt region, Benue Plateau, and you served as the National Public Secretary of that region. What do you know? Why is it that the people are more like complacent? Is it because they have given up? Do they have a sense of surrender? Have they surrendered? What is going on in that region? That is what Nigerians want to find out from an insider like you.
A question which I've already answered. I said from the very beginning What is going on is simply genocide. They are trying to exterminate our people and take possession of our land. There is nothing like farmers herders clash. So I've answered the question from the beginning, and I said these are terrorists, and what is going on in Benue or going on in Plateau will go around the whole Nigeria if it is not stopped.
Okay, if it is not stopped, I want us to talk about stopping it in Benue State. Okay, now, like I said, the Benue State and Benue-Plateau have produced the highest number of officer corps in the Nigerian army. Now, all these people are retired. Why is it difficult for them to mobilize community efforts to push back these header terrorists who are committing this genocide? Why is it difficult for them?
Did they retire with all the arms in Nigeria and to mobilize people and to give them arms and train them to go and fight terrorism, to go and fight these mercenaries? No.
Okay.
It is not. So it is not an issue of saying because the Middle Belt has the largest number of retired officers and therefore they should have mobilized. And in the first place, have we officially in Nigeria been asked to defend ourselves? We have not. So the retired officers are not doing anything abnormal.
Okay. Now short of supplying arms and ammunition, which is what I wasn't even talking about, in terms of ideas, have they proffered ideas, to the state government, to traditional rulers, to community people? Look, this is what we can do in terms of security, in terms of intelligence. As trained soldiers, have they at any point in time proffered ideas or, prescriptions about how the people can mobilize to ward off all these terrorist killers? Have they?
I have said that what we can do has been made known to the government since 2014.
Okay, which is?
Self-defense.
Self-defense?
Yes.
Okay. So, who brought up this idea? Is it the retired soldiers or what?
You don't need retired soldiers to do it. Anybody can defend himself.
Okay, so how do we intend to do that?
Citizens are permitted to defend themselves when they are attacked. We will do the same.
Okay, now let's look at the solution. Do you think that the federal authorities have displayed enough sincerity in tackling the insecurity, especially the one that is the one of Benue-Plateau, which is a different brand of insecurity from what happens in other regions? Do you think that the federal government has been sincere in tackling the root cause of insecurity in Nigeria, with special reference to Benue-Plateau?
I said no.
Okay, why do you say so?
If it has been, then we wouldn't be having it continuously like this.
Okay, so what will you want the federal government to do?
To do whatever they can do to stop it.
Like what?
To stop it like what?
You made presentations to the government in 2014 about self-defense. How did you do that? Did you just tell the federal government we want to defend ourselves? What was the memo all about? What other measures did you prescribe?
No, see, I think you are not getting what I'm saying.
No, I think it's you that is not getting my question clear, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, what efforts have you made? You said that the federal government is not sincere, and I asked you, what else do you want them to do? You said they should stop it. How would they stop it? How? By giving you arms to defend yourself or what? Or by doing it itself? The military, do you think that the military is overwhelmed?
If people are being killed, if people are being destroyed, villages, carnage is everywhere, are we the ones, the retired army officers, that will tell the government what to do?
We have gone beyond those of army officers. You said you made representations to the government. What were there? You said the people should be allowed to arm themselves. Okay, Dr. Dogo, if we make you the governor of Benue State now, how will you fight what is going on in Benue State? Let me put you on the spot.
You are not putting me on any spot.
Okay.
Because you are not asking the right question.
No, so if you make you governor of Benue State today, what will you do to stop the insurgents, the insecurity in Benue State?
Listen to me. If there is insecurity anywhere,
No, we are talking. Sorry, sir. We are talking about Benue State. You come from Benue, and you are the former national public secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. What do you know that we don't know? If you were made the governor of Benue State today, what would you do to fight insecurity in Benue State?
Well, I'm not the governor of Benue State, but if I met the governor of Benue State today, or any state that in my state there are crises, I will do it, and I'm not going to start making it public. I will simply go ahead and ensure that it is stopped at the earliest time possible. Any person that is serious about security situation, you don't discuss it on television or radio or any form.
Okay, so you don't like the idea that the federal government is saying, look, we have bought Tucano jets, we have bought drones to fight insurgents and all of that. It's not a good way to travel.
Like the idea of what?
The idea that when the federal government, when the military high command comes out to say, look, we have procured Tucano jets, we have bought drones, we have equipped the military, we have spent 2 billion naira, you know, to acquire arms and all of that. You think it's not a correct thing to do? Because you just said that if you are governor, that you are not going to lay your cards open.
See, buying the jets or whatever kind of something, of what use it is, if the purpose for buying those things is not used, what is the purpose? The purpose is to stop insecurity. So if those things exist and we are still having problem of insecurity everywhere, particularly in Plateau and Benue, then there is a problem.
Okay, so since the jets and ammunitions are not working, what else should work?
You said what?
You said that the reason why those ammunition are bought is not working. Essentially saying that, look, it is not about guns and ammunition and Tucano jets and drones. So what else should work, sir?
I've not said they are not working, please.
You said they are not working because the insecurity persists. That's exactly what you said a second ago.
If the government or the military, they have those things, and we are still in the form of insecurity, of what use are they? Do you see?
Meaning impliedly, they have not worked. So what else should work if that track is not working? What do you think should work?
I'm not a military man and I'm not a security, but I've just told you at the very beginning that if we will continue this way, let them allow self-defense. If there is self-defense, we know exactly what we will do to defend ourselves.
Okay, so if you become governor, essentially what you are going to do is to arm Benue people to defend themselves. Am I correct?
I didn't say so.
Okay, but you prefer self-defense, right?
To the governor of Benue, I know what to do to stop it within the shortest time possible.
Okay, so you think that this present governor is not doing what is right to stop it? The present governor is not doing what is required to stop it?
I don't know. If he, then we wouldn't be having the insecurity and the killings continuously. If he were doing what is required.
Okay.
But the other issue is that, is he permitted to do it? That is what I have said from the beginning.
What do you think that the governor is doing? What do you think? What is the governor doing? What do you know that the governor is doing? You come from Benue State. Talk to us.
You said?
What is the governor doing? What is he doing? You come from Benue State. Talk to us. We want to know what the governor is doing. It's not working.
Please, let me correct you. I'm not from Benue State.
Where are you from, sir?
From Kaduna State.
You are from Kaduna State?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, but you are secretary of the Middle Belt Forum, right?
I was National Publicity Secretary
of the
Forum.
Okay. Now, during the period, we understand that this problem, this crisis has endured. During your tenure as National Publicity Secretary, the governors, what were they doing?
Sir, I didn't hear you very well, please, because it will come up and it will go off. I don't know why.
Okay, now you come from Kaduna State, and insecurity, whatever track, whatever form it is, also persists in Kaduna State. But I'm more interested in you operating on a larger organization, which is the Middle Belt Forum, Benue-Plateau, Adamawa, Taraba, and all of that, including Kaduna, where you come from. And that place has become a ring of flashpoint of insecurity for over 20 years. Now, and the governors seem to be hamstrung. So what were they doing that they were not doing right that led to the persistence of this insecurity?
1 trillion times, I will tell you the same thing. If I'm going to talk of insecurity, I will do to stop it, I will never talk it on television or radio or any public means.
Okay. Now, do you think that the president has done enough to stop insecurity?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, please.
Do you think that the current president has done enough, to fight insecurity? Because when he was on the other side, he said, look, President Goodluck Jonathan, if you cannot fix insecurity, you need to resign, get out of that office. He's been in that office for 2 years, and looks like the thing has even tripled. Do you think that the president has done enough, or is he hamstrung? Is he overwhelmed? Is there a pushback by certain powerful elements, that don't want the insecurity to go away? What do you think, sir? Did you get that, sir? Hello, sir. Did you get that?
Go ahead, please.
Did you get my question?
I didn't get you.
Okay. Now, I said that the president, when he was on the other side, when he was in the opposition, he said, President Jonathan, if you can't fix insecurity, please resign and get out of office. Now, we have this same president now who was an opposition. Now, he's been in office for 2 years, and does it look like he's overwhelmed? Does it look like he hasn't done enough? Because we have seen insecurity triple, in his time, during the time of the APC. What do you think that is he overwhelmed? Or is it that there's a pushback from certain powerful elements or individuals in parts of the country that don't want this insecurity to end? What do you think, sir?
Answered that question, that the insecurity, nothing close to solving it is being done. So
what has been done? What essentially has been done? What do you know that has been done?
No. I said nothing has been done. You are asking again.
Nothing at all, with all the money that is voted for security in our national budget for the past 10, 15, 12 years?
I said nothing has been done. If something has been done, then we wouldn't be having the insecurity.
Okay, so what's your prescription? You want the government to arm Nigerians to defend themselves. That's about the only thing that you have said. That's the only solution you have preferred. Is that the only thing? Is that the only thing you think that can be done to stem the tide of insecurity in Nigeria?
Be the last thing that should be done.
That should be the last thing.
Yes, self-defense should be the last thing that should be done.
Beautiful. So what is the first thing? What is the first thing that should be done?
Just listen to me, please. Listen. The Nigerian armed forces, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian security agencies have the ability, the capability, and the capacity to stop any type of insecurity in Nigeria within the shortest time possible. Wherever they go to in the world, they are seen as about the best. Don't get me? And
go ahead, sir.
the problem is with the government, not the security agencies. Simple as that. The politicians, the government, let me ask you this question. Are you getting me? Please listen to me very well. Jonathan said that those who are sponsoring insecurity existed in his government. Did he ever make them known? The chief, his special advisor, Aziza, said it on television. Did he ever make the names known? Not too long ago, it was, they said some people were arrested in the Middle East, and about 5 people were deported to Nigeria, and some were locked up there. Have they made their names known? Has something been done? Buhari was there, and they will say that says criminals repented, and it is alleged that they sent some of them into the Nigerian armed forces. Has Buhari been asked why that happened? El Rufai said that he was paying people to stop killing us in southern Kaduna. The question is, how did he know those who were coming to kill us? How did he know where?
So you think that you think that the Nigerian state is complicit in what is going on in insecurity?
You said?
Do you think that the Nigerian state is complicit in what is going on with insecurity in Nigeria?
Whatever is happening, you say, I don't want to go into all those kind of explanations, please. I've made my mind.
Now, if you agree, do you agree with the TTOV, that it is clear genocide that is going on in Benue State and all of that? Now, in the Middle Belt Forum, have you at any time made any representations to the federal government or to the International Criminal Court to see the end of the crisis, maybe for them to investigate it and stop it since it is genocide? Dr. Dogo, are you there? Are you with me?
I'm with you, but I'm not hearing you.
Okay, but you heard when I said you are with me. You heard when I asked you, are you with me?
Yes, I heard that one.
Okay, the Middle Belt Forum, have you at any time made any representation, to either the federal government or to the ICC, International Criminal Court, regarding the case of genocide as alleged by the TOTIV? I mean, if you suspect that it's genocide, we have proper channels, of representation to address what is going on. Have you at any point in time done that as Middle Belt Forum?
Did you hear me?
I heard you, sir.
The answering the question does not make any impact on what is happening or stop what is happening. I want questions or discussion on issues that are taking place, not political kind of questions with respect to what has happened. And you have asked me if the federal government has done enough. I said no. And I've given you some examples of why I said no, isn't it? Because
now this would be a good place to end this conversation. We've been speaking with Dr. Isuwa Dogo for, he's a political scientist and former National Publicity Secretary of Middle Belt Forum. We appreciate your presence. On behalf of the backroom staff, the technical director, bus manager, sound engineer, and ingest manager, I am Chukwuma Okoro. Up next is Issues with Jerry Apollo. Stay with us and don't go away. And bye for now.